High vibes, everybody. Just wanted to get on here real quick, and I want to go a little bit deeper into the phrase, as within, so without, and as without, so within. So, as you're going on your journey, and as we start to expand on the things that we actually know, and the things that we've actually done that inner searching on, you're going to start to see how that affects your outside. So, one of the phrases that I'm going to be saying a lot, in this video is you got to see how your interactions are going to be affecting all of your interactions. So when you start looking at how you are reacting to things on the inside and how you're working on yourself from the inside, you'll see how, that change that you start bringing about on the inside will start to change how you interact with people on the outside as well. So when you start seeing, all the interaction affect your interactions, that's when you're going to start to get more results about all the work that you're putting in. And, a lot of people say, as within, so without, as without, so within. So when you start making changes on the inside, you'll start to see it on the outside, because your perspective changes, your viewpoint changes, your under, inner, and overstanding of things start to change to where you start to react and move in a different way than you were moving before. So therefore, you'll start to get these deeper feelings and deeper thoughts and these more experiences, because once you start applying that work and actually putting in that knowledge for yourself, then you'll start to see it in those interactions that you have with people and whatever you're doing on the outside. And another thing with that is so then you'll also see how other people are reacting in a different ways, to where you'll start to get a little bit more from it. You might get a little deeper, understanding of that actual situation. So just keep working on that and you'll start to see that. Now, the other side of that, the flip side of that, is the ask without, so within. So once you start to do all these different spiritual work, you do your meditations, you're doing all your rituals, and you're doing all the different things that you're going to be doing in order to be raising up in vibration. You're doing all those things, you're actually putting them into action, changing your perspective and putting in that work. You're going to start to see that the stuff that happens on the outside does have an effect on what happens on the inside. So you'll start to see, that, hey, this other stuff that's going on out here does affect me. It might not affect you directly. It might be affecting you indirectly. Let's say, your boss, you start seeing that your boss is probably maybe having a bad day, and how they start to do stuff starts to affect everybody around you, and then it starts to affect you as well. Well, that's something on the outside that is going to affect you. And then you'll also see that the perspective that you have of that, of what's going on the outside of yourself, when you start to bring it in, you'd be like, so this might be something that's actually happening within me, all this chaoticness that's going on. You might be like, okay, it's really chaotic around me right now. And then you start to do your inner search, you start to think about it a little deeper, and you're like, oh wow, it's kind of chaotic within myself. I think it's funny, I start saying it's chaotic, and you see this helicopter behind me, and how it's all messed up. Yeah, this just popped up out of nowhere the other day. But so you see, even with that, the hole is all messed up on the helicopter, the front of it, it's got a big hole on it, it's missing its rotors and all that. You start to see, that, that's the outside stuff of the helicopter, but it's going to affect the inside stuff, because it's not going to be able to fly and do the things that it's supposed to do, with all that stuff broken. So that can even go into your physical body. You start seeing what's going on without. You start seeing that physicality that you're putting in. Maybe you need to start working out more, or maybe you need to start being more disciplined on certain actions, or stop doing certain things. So, and you'll start to see that stuff is a reflection of your inside. You start getting all sloppy, your house can start getting all sloppy and messy, and then you start realizing that your inner state, your mind, is all sloppy and messy. So you definitely need to be aware of these different things that are happening around you in order to be able to change your environment and change your reality to the way that you want it to be. Because a lot of this is just your perspective, transforming your perspective, that knowledge of how you have it, in order to make it into what you are trying to get to. And it's not even what you're trying to get to, because you should have no expectations of what you're going to have. That's another big thing. When you start seeing the as within, so without, you're going to start having these other experiences. But don't start thinking about what's all this is going to happen. Have no expectations on that, because then you'll be able to get the full picture. Because as soon as you start having those expectations, then it's going to start to change all the stuff about what's going on. Your as within is changing your as without, because now you have expectations of it. So now the way you're thinking about it and how you're actually interacting and moving and doing different things is going to be different than it was before. So therefore, it's going to change the outcome. So your as within is changing your without. Just like, say, your environment starts to change on you real quickly. Like, let's say you go into work and all of a sudden, everything's been reorganized, everything's been changed around, you don't know what's going on. That might cause you to be a little bit stressful. It might cause a little stress on yourself, within, as you're looking at these different things that's going on. So that's an example of, your as without affecting your as within. So you got to make sure that you're looking at it from all these different aspects, and you start to actually notice what's going on, because these might be little things that can help you along your path along the way. When you start noticing, oh, okay, this is, something is starting to get a little cluttered or this and that, and then you realize, oh, I'm getting a little cluttered, within myself. This goes with like your altar, your energy workspace, whatever you want to call it. You can look at that as well and see the differences that happen, on the outside along with that. But you got to make sure that you're aware of these things, because once you become aware of them, that's when you could actually start to implement some of these changes that you're trying to do. You'll be able to actually fix some of these problems. You can plug some of them holes, fix some of the hole that's going on. You can start putting in that more physical work if you want your body to start feeling better. So you start working out and you're like, okay, I'm starting to look good on the outside. But not only that, working out and you start eating healthier, and then guess what? Now your inside is also feeling better. You might even have a clearer mind to be able to do more meditation, to be able to do more of your spiritual practices. This goes deep. This goes very deep into different things. So, with the phrase as within, so without, and as without, so within, you got to be able to interchange them and actually see how they interchange in their reaction to each other, because that's going to have other effects as well. But when it comes to just seeing, what's happening on the inside, how it affects the outside, that's the main part that I really want you guys to focus on, at first. Because later on, you can start focusing on other things. But at first, you really want to see how your interactions are affecting your interactions. So once you start to realize that how your mindset, your mental state, your spiritual state, your physical state on the inside is affecting on the outside, then you can start to make those changes. And then once you start seeing, okay, now you're actually putting into motion to get all the stuff on the inside fixed up, and you start seeing the changes on the outside. At that point, then you can start doing things to change about the outside, so that it also have other effects on you within. So the as without, so within. So make sure that you're looking at it from at first, on a more basic level, just how your mental state, your spiritual state, and your physical state is actually affecting what's going on around you. And then later on, you can start seeing how those things can start to affect you in other ways. Because as we go through on our journey and on our path, there's going to be all kinds of things that may start to change within us. It's not even that they may change. They will change as long as you're putting in the work. So when you're putting in this different work to change up your mental perspective, to change up how you view things in order to make your reality better as far as what you want it to be, you'll start to see these changes, and then you'll start to see how the changes within start to affect your changes without. Once you are able to do that, then you're going to be able to alchemize the situation and actually transform your environment to what you want it to be. You want to be able to, not only transform your environment, but make those transitional moves in order to get to different places that you're trying to get to. So you want to make sure that you're actually looking at all these different aspects and staying aware of the as within, so without, because it's a very important part of your journey, is when you start to see, how your inside affects your outside and how your outside affects your inside, because that can also help you with different aspects. Because like I said, this goes really deep. You can start to see that, okay, once I start putting in more work to see, how things are affecting me on the inside, how it affects the outside, then you could really start to go in and start to see like how that's affecting like after you start to make those changes, the different growth you start having. You might start having more experiences. You might start getting different downloads and different information, and you might be able to maneuver a little bit differently. So you want to make sure that you're taking in all that, and you're being aware of how these things are changes, because they can affect, not only once you start putting into effect, it might not only affect your physical reality, it'll start affecting your mental reality, your spiritual reality, because these things are all interchangeable. It's going to start to get you to see, the bigger picture of everything. It's going to get you to start really going in on what's changing around you, within you, to you, to the people around you, everything. So I feel like that's a good amount of information for you guys to process right now. So just keep in mind on how your interactions affect your interactions, and how your interactions affect your interactions. And make sure that you're properly shielding yourself. And I'll probably make my next video is probably going to be about shielding yourself, spiritually, mentally, and physically. And I'm going to give you a little bit of tips on that as well. But for now, just think about the as within, so without, and as without, so within. And if you want higher spiritual and higher informational knowledge, you can always check out Astro Solson and Reprogram the Matrix YouTube channels, as well as check out the private community, reprogramthematrix.com. But just check them out, see what's on there, and start getting this firsthand experience from actually applying this information. Don't just take in the information, actually apply it. But that's all I wanted to say to you guys. Keep vibing high. My full love and gratitude to you all, and high vibes.